30 seconds here, and then we're going to get started. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, and good morning again. Welcome to our Hene Hose Reel webinar hosted by Peerless. My name is Greg Barrell, and I am excited to introduce this session where we will discuss the importance of using hose reels in a facility and specifying the right reel for the right application. Joining us today is Lee Ballou, Regional Manager at Hene Reels, who will share his expertise regarding the use of hose reels in a facility. Before we dive in, I'd like to introduce Peerless. We've been a trusted provider of process components for over 111 years, working with customers to solve complex challenges across a variety of industries. We take pride in delivering solutions that prioritize safety, efficiency, and reliability. There's three facets to Peerless. Our high-temp fabrication division machines scientific surfaces for laboratory and medical applications and provide electrical insulators and refractory solutions. By leveraging non-metallic materials and our years of experience, we ensure high-quality results for even the most demanding applications. Our Peerless Process Division, we specialize in supporting manufacturing customers in the chemical, food and beverage, pharmaceutical, power, and other various industries. And then lastly, our Procore Division supports OEM customers, custom equipment, engineers, skid builders, EPC firms, and large capital expenditure projects. No matter the challenge, we strive to provide tailored solutions that meet your needs. We have a vast network of manufacturer partners that support Peerless and our large customer base. We've aligned ourselves with these important partners to ensure our customers get the best products and services for their key applications in their facilities and custom equipment they are building. Now I'll hand it over to Lee, who will take you through the details of these innovative solutions and how they can address your specific needs. Lee, let's get started.
Very good. Good morning. My name is Lee Ballou. I am the Midwest Regional Manager with Hene Reels. And as Greg had mentioned, there's a lot of good reasons to use hose reels, and Peerless is a good dealer of ours that does a tremendous job with making sure you as a customer, you're getting the proper reels that you need for the applications out there in the field. So thank you very much for taking the time to attend this morning, and we'll get going from there.
Lee, can I actually jump in here real quick?
Sure.
Right before we do officially get started, I just want to make sure that we make this webinar as beneficial as possible to everyone involved. So we encourage questions throughout it, and I just want to make sure everyone knows how to ask those questions. So there's a couple different ways everyone attending can do that. The first is by clicking the chat icon in the toolbar up top. Chat window should appear on your right if it's not already there, and you can just drop the question in there. I'll be looking at that, and then once an opportunity presents itself, I'll step in and ask your question. Additionally, you can use the raise your hand button. Currently, everybody is muted, but if you do raise a hand, I will unmute you, and you could ask that question directly to Lee. And then I did want to mention at the very end there will be a Q&A session. So if you don't get an opportunity to ask your question during the presentation, we do have that time. So just wanted to step in there. Sorry, Lee.
No, that's quite all right. Next slide, if you would, Chris. Okay, Hene Reels, like Peerless, we've been around a very long time. We are very proud to be a fourth generation business located in upstate New York near Albany. We're in the foothills of the Catskills. Clifford Hene started this business back in 1933. And he had two sons, Dwight and George. Unfortunately, Dwight was killed in a plane accident. George took over the business from there. And as you can see on the family tree, if you will, Roger Hannay and David Hannay both ran the company. And currently, Elaine and Eric Hannay are running the company, and Eric being the CEO of the company. So we've been providing reels since 1933 up until 2024-25 now. And they just decided to build hose reels the right way from the get-go. We have continued to be a very good quality product throughout the years, and a very robust type of reel for any application that you may need. And as you can see, Clifford Hannay, he was a car dealer way back when. And if you look at the bottom right, that is our facility now. It is in Westerlo, New York. And it is in the foothills of the Catskills. There's a deli, there's a bank, there's a post office, and the world headquarters for Hannay Reels. We have about 200 employees, and we can manufacture about 250, 275 reels a day. And we normally get orders for 350 to 400 reels a day. And on the map there, it kind of shows you where it is. It is southwest of Albany, up in the foothills there, in a really, really beautiful area. Next slide, please. We are always looking forward to new technologies out there. In the past, as most companies in manufacturing didn't have access to a lot of robotics, but we are bridging that gap now with a lot of robotics into our manufacturing facility. Plasma Cutter does a lot of our cutting, if you will, for larger reel frame parts. And we do now have a CNC with a robotic arm that has made our hub manufacturing, that axle or the fluid path, if you will, for a reel, a lot more beneficial. And we are seeing that we have increased abilities to get the reels out a little bit quicker with this robotics going on in the CNC turning center. Next slide. The upper left that you see there, the fiber laser tube cutting system. This was installed last October, and it's a beast, and it will do just about anything you need to cut any kind of material for frameworks of a reel. A variety of lengths: stainless steel, aluminum, square round tubing, roll form channel, angled materials. And we've really amped up the speed of our processing and manufacturing with this new product in there. Also, we use on the right-hand side of the screen there, you can see we do have a 3D laser printer. This has helped us a lot in our, what we call the lab, our engineering lab, where they develop new products very quickly with a 3D printer. They can pump something out and take a look at it and see how it is going to fit the need that we may have. So we're constantly looking at different conceptual designs for new parts and real components, and putting that to use in a very aggressive fashion to keep up with changes that we need to make in the manufacturing of our hose reels. Next slide, please. You don't think you need a hose reel until you need a hose reel. There are so many different applications out there, and I can read through some of them, but on the left-hand side, you see fuel delivery, ground maintenance, mining, fire and rescue. Fire is a big one for us, as many others are too. I always like to put a plug in that I would say 99% of the fire trucks in the world that you see out there will have a Hannay reel on them. There's a big reason for that. We build quality. We very rarely have failures, and it's a big safety issue. They do not want to go out to a fire and say, boy, geez, I'd like to get this hose a little closer to the fire, but my reel's not working properly. We have a very good quality product, and it maintains its safety features out there in the field and works when you need it to. The mining industry, we're very big in the mining industry too, because frankly, mining just tends to beat up equipment in a bad way, and we make our reels very robust to put up with those type of conditions. We're also in processing, chemical, food plants, a lot of those areas. We make stainless steel reels. We make them out of a heavy gauge stainless steel. It's not very thin, and they tend to last a long time and do the work that we need them to out there. Utilities, aviation, transportation, a bunch of those I mentioned. Next slide, please. Again, lubrication, vacuum suction, welding, steam cleaning, water jetting, blasting, refueling. Chemical transfer is a big one. Utilities, cable, just everywhere you think you would need a hose reel or a cable reel, electrical reel, we have a footprint there. I like to go over to this page. There's a little bit more detail here. It is all about what makes our product better. I won't go into a whole ton of detail, but you can read there in the middle, Hannay heavy gauge rolled edge discs, 304 stainless steel drums, standard steel construction with E-coat. We just tend to make a very robust reel. The ratchet locking system on the far left that you see prevents jamming and lockout. Maintenance-free dual ball bearings for smooth turning. External racket pawl lock. Dual frame supports. There are some real manufacturers out there that do not have a dual frame, and those tend to not stand up as well. We have a four-way roller assembly on there also. That tends to help for ease of rewinding cable and or hose. When you're dealing with electrical, we do have the ability to have it be a live reel for you. If you look in the upper left side, cable reels, they feature that externally mounted 3 or 4 conductor 45 amp collector assembly. And we try and make that as serviceable as possible. With all our reels, we try and build them from an engineering aspect of ease of service for the customer. And that helps tremendously out there also. The reel on the right is more dealing with a lot of the fluid paths that you'll see. And, same thing, heavy gauge form steel drum, optional 4-way rollers. We do have options of manual crank rewind, power rewind, and, hose reels feature a steel fluid path, stainless or aluminum optional, with externally mounted swivel joints for ease of serviceability again. We try and make these reels to the best standards we know of, and we've always built quality. Sometimes I wish I had $1 for every time someone asks me, boy, I really like this reel, but do you make a cheaper version of it? No, we do not. We've always made these reels of heavy-duty construction, and that's why I think we have the name we have in the hose reel industry, looked at as the best reel that's out there in the market for our customers. Next page, please. This is a cool picture on the left there. This was the original first reel that was built. Serial number 33, because that's when they started the business in 1933. Quick story behind this, the way Hannay Reels got started, Clifford Hannay, he was kind of a tinkerer. He had his own car dealership. He had a few other things going on. And there was a gentleman up there in the hills of Westerlo, Ken Morrissey, who had a heating oil business. And his trucks, they used to have a pump, and they would carry the oil up to the tanks near the house in buckets. And then they realized, wow, we can hook a hose to this pump and use the hose and pump it into there. Then they realized that, wow, we've got a lot of tangled up hose in the back of this truck. It would be nice to have a hose reel with the fluid flowing through the reel into the hose. Well, he had bought the materials trying to put that plumbing together, couldn't quite figure it out, and took it back to the store and said, I want to return these parts. I've been trying to figure out for a few weeks now how to build this hose reel so the fluid runs through it, and couldn't get it done. And the gentleman that owned the hardware store said, well, wait a minute, there's a gentleman here named Clifford Hannay, and he's kind of a tinkerer. Maybe he can help you. they were introduced, and they built this first hose reel back in 1933. Now, what happened from there was about a year and a half later, Ken Morrissey came to Clifford Haney and said, you know what? I don't think this hose reel idea is going to go anywhere. I'm going to stick to doing my heating oil business. You want to buy me out? And so he did. Clifford Haney bought him out for $250. Everything's relative. That might have been a lot of money back in the day. But that is one of the favorite pieces in our museum that we have up there in Westerlo. It's a framed piece, and it is that contract for $250 that Clifford Haney bought out Ken Morrissey his share of the business, and the rest is history. You know, we've been in business since then, up until now, since 1933. Everything you really want to know about your hose reel will be on the tags that you see. One of them there is from 1969. That's an older version. And you can see today's version of a tag there also. That one was from 2016. Serial number is always better. The model tells me what it is, but the serial number will tell if there's any add-ons or a way it is possibly built that is a little bit different. There's a number of add-ons that you can have in a hose reel aside from just the standard model. And a reel model number configuration. They're hard to understand if you don't know hose reels. So it would always be best, and I will say it throughout the presentation, please call Peerless when you need a quote, and they will then be able to quote the reels to you, knowing Henne reels fairly well. So sample model number configuration of a E15 2017 18 LT H10M. The E stands for electric. The 15 2017 18 is the model number and the reel size. The 1520, the 1500 is a series. The 20 means that has a 8-inch wide drum. The 1718 are the disc size. 17 3/4 is the actual size of the disc. LT means component orientation, and this is important. The LT that you see in that reel, the L means left side. The left represents everywhere that everything is coming in. Your power, as you can see, that motor is on the left. The swivel joint is kind of in the foreground of the motor. That is your inlet from wherever your product is coming from into the hose reel. And you can see the riser on the spool, that gooseneck, if you will, is the very left side close to the disc. So everything is on the left. And the T, frankly, means top. It means the hose will come off the top of that spool. And the H10M stands for the pressure rating. Now, that is wrong. That's showing you 5,000 PSI. Unfortunately, the 10 means 10,000 PSI. If it had a 5, it would mean 5,000 PSI. That is a misprint in there. Next page. Again, on a spring reel, if you have spring rewind reels, and these are very popular reels in a lot of different industries. It's ease of application. You can pull it out, it locks where you need it, and then you can rewind it very quickly back to the reel. It is used in fueling a lot because it's a non-sparking item. There is no electricity running through the reel anywhere with sparks, flammable products, that type of thing. So fuel reels for aviation, diesel, whatever else, gasoline, spring reels are a good item for that. Again, a sample model number, the N in the prefix stands for a narrow spring reel. We have a narrow version, and then we have a channel frame version. This that you see in the pictures is an N series. So it's a 716, 1617, 10.5C. The 1617 again is the disc size. The 10.5C that you see there, the 10.5 is the drum size, the diameter. The C designates the spring. And SR is a suffix, again, the component orientation. In applications, SR is standard, as you can see on the bottom reel there on the left. That's our standard. If we don't hear a suffix of SR, TR, or VR, it will always come standard, and it will be for an orientation where you have the reel mounted on the floor of a skid or something. TR optional, that's top rewind. It comes off the top of the reel. VR is for when, I'm sure you've seen in service bays at car dealers type of thing, they have reels hanging from the ceiling. This is when the VR option is important. And again, the pressure rating at the end there you see is H5M, and that is correct. It is 5,000 PSI. So it's kind of difficult to get used to the model numbers of our reels, but once you learn them a little bit and deal with reels, you will see that, they make sense, kind of. Available at henne.com. If you go to our website, please make sure you go to www.henne.com. There's another dealer out there that makes their website look almost identical to Henne Reels, and that is Henne Reels Sales. You do not want to use them. They are a great dealer for us, but you are not speaking directly with Henne Reels. So make sure you go to henne.com when you're pulling up information for your reel. And then when you have more questions or want to place an order, make sure you give Peerless a call. We do have a reel selector search engine. We've done a lot of work with our agency to make our website as navigation easy, if you will. The parts directory and parts drawing. We have ISOs for everything we build, whether it's a reel or another component of the reel that's out there. Maintenance and installation guides. We do have videos. We have TSBs, technical service bulletins, for a lot of our product, whether it's changing out a swivel joint, changing the seals within a swivel joint, how to put hose on a spring reel, how to change, a disc size, how to change the roller position on a spring reel. There's a lot of information in our website in the maintenance and installation guides. You can find wiring schematics for all of our reels with electric rewind, hydraulic rewind, air rewind, all of those. We do have a lot of reel package information. And then there is a dealer login for dealers where you can access your site and see if you're looking for orders, that kind of thing. But speccing out an order is important too. So there is an area in there where you can look at and say, boy, I'm looking for this reel. What questions do I want to ask? And when you go into the reel selector section, you can see your applications. Pressure wash, for instance, washdown is shown here. And then it will pull up all the different reel series that may be in that area. And then from there, you can, whatever questions you may have, you can contact Peerless again, and they will help you with getting the right, proper reel for the application you have out there. It's a good start. It helps the customers locate what reel you may need. And then some of the questions to ask, when you're trying to order a reel or think of what you need is, what's the model? What capacity do you need? How much hose on the reel? What size of hose? What pressure on the hose? That's going to dictate how the reel is built. With all those things in mind, we have to know the capacity, how much hose you want to put on, what's the OD of the hose, because, that becomes space on the hose reel. The length, the OD, application is so important. The liquid that's running through the reel is extremely important. Also, there are a lot of applications out there that require in aviation, aluminum and stainless steel. In processing, stainless steel internals or fluid path, if you will, is very important also in the processing industry. I will point out, and I think it's very important, we are not a cookie cutter type hose reel manufacturer. We build our reels specifically for the application that you need. We don't have a lot of models that just say, okay, here, this one will work. We try and narrow it down to fit your needs the best that we can out there in the field. So that's why it's important to ask as many questions to your end user as you can to find out exactly what they need. And we can build it that way. We do it every day. Next slide, please. So if you go into reel specifications or on our website, which again, www.hane.com, there's a search bar up in the upper right-hand side of our website. If you type in a spring reel, for instance, this one showing at the top, the N700 spring reel, if you type in N716-25-26-15.5B and you hit enter, what will show up is on the right-hand side of your screen there. It will show you exactly where that is, the highlight, what the reel is. It will go into the length, the weight, all those issues. Your dimensions are all listed there too. We call them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, X, and Y, but it is the width. And if you look down a little bit further, I think on this, the dimensions are shown in a kind of a blueprint form, if you will. And then the specs will be there also. All those bullet points on the left-hand side will show you the pressures on the reel. Everything you need to know about that hose reel is pretty much shown there. And again, if you have questions, make sure you ask them to your Peerless representative when approaching them about a purchase. Next slide, please. ISOs are also very important. These are the breakout, the items shown there. You can get to them in the parts drawings, find out what reel you have, and every single part to that reel is shown in the middle as an item number. And then on the next page down, as you can see on the right, it will have that item number listed on the left, the Hane reel's description of that item in the middle, and then on the right-hand side, the actual Hane part number listed as a 99 category type part. So everything you need on that hose reel pretty much can be identified and purchased through Peerless. Again, I mentioned earlier our maintenance and installation guides, the technical service bulletins, safety guidelines, general instructions. I'll mention now our warranty. We have a 3-year warranty on anything we build, the frame, the disc, everything, the hub itself, the drum, everything that Hane builds, we have a 3-year warranty on it. And that's a pretty good warranty. I don't think others in the industry are doing that. Some of the other items on the reel being the swivel joint, the motor, hose, for instance, we use the warranty that vendor provides us. So for instance, Super Swivel makes a lot of our swivels, most of our swivels. We would use their warranty. If you got a bad swivel, a lot of times if it's a year old, that swivel joint's warranted for 18 months. We're going to send you a swivel as quickly as we can. It's like, look, send the old one back. If it's leaking, you just got the reel. Obviously, something's wrong with it. Most times we're going to have a swivel sent out and no charge to you just so you can get working again. People do not realize how important your hose reel is until you can't use it. So we try as much as we can to keep you guys moving in the field and able to do your jobs as quickly as possible with our hose reels. So we turn around things very quickly in our customer service to make sure you guys are able to work. We don't arm wrestle you for issues a lot unless it's a very serious issue. Then we want to make sure we have all our ducks in a row, as you would too. But swivel joint maintenance, you can. There's some swivels that need greasing. There's some that don't. You can replace the seals in swivels. We show you how to do that. There's videos for it. TSBs for loading hose on a reel or troubleshooting electrical issues. So there is a lot of information there that you can take a look at. And the videos are pretty cool too. So that's Eric Hane on the bottom right. and Rob Machman, who has retired. But boy, what a wealth of information there. Eric, the CEO, he got his mechanical engineering degree from Cornell, and knowing he was going to be working for the company and eventually taking over the company, went back and got his master's degree in industrial engineering, and then went back and got an MBA in business. So he knows his stuff, as you would say, and has done a very good job of running the company since. Rob Machman on the left, just a quick. He finally retired after 37 years. And, that's another thing I think that makes Hannay Reels unique. Most of the employees have been on board, they're retiring from there with 35, 40 years in. And I think that speaks volumes to the culture of our company, that we just keep good people and people want to stay around. We don't have a lot of turnover. Most of the people in inside sales, I would say I'm the baptism by fire. I think I worked for a couple of years on the plant floor before you can actually even work into the inside sales, giving quotes. Most of the guys have worked on the shop floor for at least 3 to 5 years before they can move into a position of inside sales and quoting or troubleshooting customers. You got to know the product. You have to know the product if you're going to speak intelligently about it. And we have a wealth of information with our employees in that area. Next page. We do have hose reel packages available, complete with hose installed. A lot of those are spring reels. And if you have a customer that you need to drop ship to wherever, okay, he's in Syracuse and you're in Buffalo, he needs a reel. You can order it with hose on it, and it will appear at their store or location ready to work. So we have air, water, lube, hydraulic on the left. In the middle, welding reel packages, grease reel packages, live cable. DEF has become, a big item with changes in the DOT, diesel exhaust fluid. We have packages for those and a variety of fuel packages also. And okay, here's our sales staff. I'm at the bottom right there. If you like, you can print that picture out and keep rats out of your garage if you like. So, but most of the guys here you will see have been, like I mentioned, the sales engineers. Everyone has worked on the shop floor. And with this group, I want to say nobody has less than 5 years in on the shop floor with this group. Tim Preston in the upper right, I think he has worked for the company for 35 years now. Rob Machman is still shown there, but he just retired last year. A lot of the guys have a lot of years in. Our international sales is Scott Hannay. He has been with the company probably 38 years. Steve Best, my counterpart, he manages the southeastern United States. And myself, I'm in the Midwest U.S. sales area. And I also handle most of Canada from Toronto to Vancouver. And that sounds huge, but, it's Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. I do get into Winnipeg, Saskatoon. And Toronto, for me, is not bad because I live in Michigan. So I believe that might be our last slide. I'd like to say thank you very, very much for attending this webinar and taking the time to do it. I hope I've been able to explain our hose reels a little bit better and a little bit of information about our company. And Peerless, they're a great partner with us. They do a good business and they provide excellent service to their customers too, from what I can see. So thank you again for attending. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee. We're just going to open it up real quick to any questions. I know you were pretty detailed there, so I'm not sure if there's going to be any, but we'll allow that opportunity now if there are any.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't it does look like one did just come in. Would you just a very generic, why would you use a reel? What's the benefits and
Using a reel is important for your application. There's a lot of reasons why. I drive down the road sometimes and I see trucks that have a hose wrapped around something. It's not meant to be wrapped around something, but a hose reel, number one, hose is not inexpensive. Hose can be expensive, and it does protect your hose mainly. I think it does a good job for that. The ease of application, it makes it easier to do your job. You're not having to wrap up or untangle a hose from somewhere. Time is money. And when you're out at a job and you can pull a hose off a reel and get it to where you need quickly, for instance, LP gas out in the field, if you have a tank in your backyard, when that truck pulls up, again, 99% of the time, because of the safety factors involved with LP gas, you're going to see a Hanny reel on that truck. They're trying to make as many stops in a given day as they can to get their product out there. And they pull the hose off all the way to that tank and they can easily rewind it. They can make more stops. If they can make one or two or three more stops in a day, that's important to them. And a safety factor also. If you're in a plant facility, OSHA is a big thing. You have safety managers in that plant also. They don't want hose laying around for safety, and or again, you run over a hose with a forklift, you need a new hose and you're spending money. So there's a lot of reasons for it, and those are just a few of the obvious ones, I think, as far as ease of application, safety, and time and money savings for yourself out in the field.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lee.
Quite welcome.
Yep. Unless there's any more last minute questions, I think we could go ahead and wrap up. I just want to say thank you again for everyone for attending. Thank you very much, Lee, and hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Thanks again.
Right. You guys have a good day. Thank you.